Hello everyone, my name's Kim and today we're going to be building a tiny house. Was that weird? Did you like it? Let me know in the comments because I have no idea what I'm doing here, I'm just vibing. A little bit of backstory before we hop into the speed build. I am building in Windenburg and it's for a single sim household. Really, it's for the start of a challenge that I'm going to be starting on this channel really soon here. I'm really excited. I hope you are too, and I hope you enjoy this speed build. We're building today on the 20 by 20 lot in mid-nowhere on the island in Windenburg. This felt like a really fitting location for this sim who is starting off this challenge by almost running away from home. They are escaping a really restrictive family. This challenge is loosely inspired by characters and events from the series Avatar: The Last Airbender, which, for anyone who knows me, knows that that's really my favorite show in the world. So this character is inspired by some from the water tribes who, they have some really restrictive customs and they really just want to lead their own life. They want to forge their own path and they don't want their family to be the ones that are dictating everything for them, which I feel is relatable even nowadays. I feel like I'm not alone in that roofing is one of my least favorite parts of building in The Sims. I always think I know what I'm doing and then it doesn't turn out the way that I want it to. I played around with it a little bit. I'm going to play around with it a little bit more as we go through this build, but I ultimately decided on a bit of a fusion between Windenburg, where we're located, as well as Mount Komorebi. I love the blue roofing, and it was the perfect opportunity to bring in more blue to the build, since this character is inspired by the water tribes. So as we continue through this build, there's going to be a lot of blues and whites and grays and just a lot of winter tones. I ended up going with this flooring from Cats and Dogs, which I really like the texture of it. We don't see that a lot in the wooden flooring, so that's the one I ultimately went with throughout the build. Now I'm just working on the landscaping. And I really wanted the textures and everything about it to blend in with the rest of the island. I feel like having just a perfectly manicured lot in the middle of just this wild environment with bushes and trees and rocks, it doesn't look as cohesive. So I go into debug and I pull up some of these debug rocks. They're ones that we see in the surrounding area on the island. So that's something I generally like to do with landscaping, is look at what's around in the neighboring lots and try to pull that in. I just feel like it makes it blend in a little bit more and makes it seem not as cut and paste. I'm starting to go in now with some blue and purple flower boxes. Again, just trying to bring in a lot of the blues and making it seem a little bit more overgrown. I think some of my favorite debug items are from cottage living. So like the grass that you see everywhere that's just a little sparse and it covers a wide space on the ground. I love using that, and I think that it worked really well for this lot and just making it seem, again, less manicured and more living. It's thriving, it's growing, and very fitting for this sim because her aspiration is actually the outdoor enthusiast. So she loves being outside, she loves gardening, and this tiny house has a very large focus on greenery and life and gardening. You can see it here with the greenhouse that's taking up a big portion of our floor tiles for the sake of being a tiny home. But it's really important to her, and I think that it ended up looking really, really good in the end. We're messing around a little bit more with the outside just to get it in a better place before we hop inside. And this is where I start to re-tackle the roof situation. I end up pulling in even more Mount Komorebi vibes with changing up the roof, making it a little bit more sloped, and ultimately also decided to shift the house frame a little bit back so that way the roof could make a little bit more sense. It's a little less weird looking and out of place, and I think it ended up being for the best, honestly. It's at this point as well that we actually start to head inside and start decorating what's inside of the tiny house. For now, I'm just putting down some basic paneling, as well as some blue tiles in the bathroom. Just doing a 3x3 bathroom, nothing exciting. There's not really much space for anything else, and I wanted to focus a little bit more, again, on the garden and the living spaces. So the living room, we have a trunk for the entertainment area, and I really wanted to give just really cute, homey vibes, and this sim is probably thrifting a lot of this furniture, or some of it came with the house, but of course she has to put some of her own personal touches. We have a nice fluffy rug, as well as bringing in some greenery from the outside into the living spaces. In the kitchen, I'm using the Jungle Adventure countertops. I've always really loved these, but I've only been able to play with the game recently thanks to a friend who gifted me the pack. So I'm taking advantage of that here and using that in the kitchen. I'm also putting down a lot of blue accessories. Again, trying to bring in a lot of the blues along with the neutral tones. So the doors are blue, the blinds are blue, the plants are blue. Everything that I could possibly make blue is blue, without it being overkill, of course. For now, she's just a girl that really likes the color blue, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. But it was around this time that I realized, oh yeah, this is a starter home. I don't have infinite funds. So I really needed to put down some of the basics before I moved into the decorating. So I'm heading into the bedroom and choosing a blue bed, as well as just some general decor that seemed natural. I found this basket that I really wanted to use. Again, it makes it seem very homey, but it didn't quite fit in the bedroom, so we're placing it in the living room instead. I'm adding this plant shelf that's from the Blooming Rooms kit. It's really cute, but it's so big. I end up changing it out a little bit later when I'm trying to save a little bit more funds. But for now, I'm heading into the bathroom. It's just a 3-tile bathroom with a toilet and shower. There's a sink in the kitchen, so we're just using that. But again, keeping with the blue tiles, blue theme. Very simple, and it works. I'm trying to find a light to put at the bedside over here. I end up putting a few things outside and hopping into the greenhouse so I can put down some plants. I am starting in spring, so I'm going to be planting outside quite a bit, but I want to make sure that I do have some space inside for the out-of-season plants to continue growing, and so I could keep getting those veggies and herbs and everything. Moving back into the main house, I had originally put these arches in the bedroom because I knew it was going to be a really tight squeeze, but I still wanted both sides of the bed to be accessible. I decided to open it up a little bit by placing some curtains, as well as just a banister, so that it really opened up the space, and the curtain is there for a little bit of privacy, or conceived privacy, and I think that it made it seem not as dark and closed off. And now we finally get to go back to cluttering the kitchen. What I was wanting to do in the first place before, I realized that my funds were starting to run a little bit low. So just some really basic stuff, some spices, a little dish rack, utensils and things, a nice plant, things that, again, you could easily find secondhand, or maybe some of the items even came with the house. Like those blinds. I feel like every old house had just those similar blinds just strewn across the windows, regardless of where the window is located. The funds are really running low now, so I am placing down this pergola just to tie in the two spaces a little bit more. I think that it really did bring the both together, and it matches with the reference photo as well. Now I'm just going through and replacing all of the lights. I use the tiny ones just so that I could light the space well while I'm building, but I'm replacing them now with ones that fit the aesthetic of the house a little bit better. I replaced that huge shelf above the bed with these hanging planters, which I think is a little bit more simple and it works a little bit better. And now I'm just putting on some little finishing touches, slapping on the rest of the blinds over here, and using my last few simoleons for some cute little plant photos. That just about wraps up this speed build. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you want to see more from me, please be sure to like the video, comment on the video to support me, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of the next time I upload. If this challenge seems interesting to you, believe me, you will want to be notified as I start posting over the next few weeks. You can find this house as well as other things that I've built on the Sims 4 gallery under KimbaSprite, the same as my name here. And now, without further ado, we will go ahead and hop into screenshots. So thank you so much, and I'll see you all next time.